listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TikTok's favorite podcast, the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back. Another week of wrestling to break down, as always. AEW Dynamite, some WWE SmackDown, and Raw. We're going to have some fun doing it. As always, I am one half of your host, Team Micah, and on the other end of the call, the historian of the Scoop Slam Podcast. He's here today to break down some real graps. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, great to be here with the most controversial man on TikTok, a wanted man. Another week of professional wrestling.
It's always interesting, man. We haven't been actually on the air. We've texted about it and talked a little before the show, but since all that happened, so if this is your first time listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast, welcome in. I guess the Will Ospreay swerve was a great introduction into some thoughts that I have about pro wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
Or that we share collectively.
Well, I mean, if you like the dance moves and the over choreographed professional wrestling, then AEW is your cup of tea, and that makes a lot of people uncomfortable when we say that.
Well, my thing is, but listen, man, if you, and I told so many people this, if you like it, good for you. Genuinely. Yeah. Like, I don't care if you like it, that's good. But I have a right to critique it at the same time and tell you what I don't like about it. And if you don't like that, oh well. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, bro, it's like when people want to scream about free speech. Well, that's fine and dandy. You can have free speech, but you're not free from consequences from having that free speech. You're going to get judged for what you say and what you like. Just what it is.
Well, not only that, but my favorite response that I got the whole time, and I do have a couple comments here that I would like to bring up because I thought they were funny. My favorite thing is, well, if you just don't like it, don't watch it then. First off, I've been watching AEW since 2021. There are things that I like, there are things that I don't like. There's things about WWE that I like and things that I don't. But let's take that same thought and ideology of if you don't like it, don't watch it, and apply that to my content. Like, nobody has a gun to your head telling you to comment, oh, I've got to comment and defend Tony Khan and AEW, or I've got to defend and comment WWE. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you don't have to just glaze one company, and if you don't like my opinion on that company, okay, it don't hurt my feelings. I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yes, it's weird, man. The ironic wrestling fans that love everything flip related, and they just don't like when you don't like that, and when you point out, well, that's not how it's. I know it's professional wrestling, man, but that's not how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look like a struggle. It's supposed to look like a pseudo semi-professional fight, man, and all the kip ups and the flips, and I don't know, man. Maybe we're just getting old.
Well, even listen, I love Shawn Michaels as a kid, but at some point, like, Shawn had a sense of realism, and what loses me is when Swerve is bending over to grab Will Ospreay so that they can flip, into the next spot. That's just, I don't know, man. That's not my cup of tea. If you like it, sure. But I got one comment here for you, Ryan. This one really cracked me up. I thought I had two.
Yeah.
I don't have this person's exact name, but their name that they gave themselves on TikTok is Philly XO. And this says, the human spirit can do many things. Like make you take a gunshot and still remain standing. Or take a couple kicks to the face and still remain standing. If a person has heart, will, grit, and determination, they can absorb as much punishment until they can't anymore.
Oh no. What were they? Was that on the video? The clip?
Yes.
Oh no.
Because my response, they would say, tell me you didn't watch the match without telling me you didn't watch the match. And then I say, oh no, I did watch the match and I didn't care for it either. And then they go, well, why not? And I was like, probably because Swerve ate 4 super kicks and was still standing up. And then that was the response I got. It's the human spirit. Or the other people that say, this is the art of wrestling. I don't know why, but that term
The
just
art.
it kills it to me immediately.
Yeah. Just I don't know, man. It makes it very hard to be a defender of AEW. I know you like to give both companies a chance, but bro, if we didn't have this podcast, I wouldn't be able to speak.
No, and I mean that's fine. I that's the thing though. You like what you like. You're very honest about it, and that's fine. But you don't, at the same time, you're not like in the comments, like going out of your way to hate on every single AEW thing that you can find.
Yeah.
And there's people that do that on WWE, on both sides. I get that. But man, it's like if you say one negative thing about AEW, you are lumped in with these like extremist WWE fans. And that's not the case. You can have things that you like and don't like.
Yeah.
And we call a spade here on the Scoop Slam podcast.
We do. And it doesn't matter how many flips you can do or how many no sales and kickouts at 2.5. That doesn't equate to a good wrestling match to me. That's just not what I look for.
And sadly, I can't say that this week there was really any great wrestling that I was looking forward to.
There's just a couple things that surprised me. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little later, but
Yeah.
wasn't all hope is lost for the whole week. We had a couple of bright spots here and there.
It's been better than some of the other weeks that we've had, but obviously we're coming up on Night of Champions this weekend. If you are from TikTok, I may...
Are we sure?
Well, Jesus.
You want to chime in on that real quick, Micah? Any
man. I wouldn't want to be over there right now. I'll tell you that much.
What they floating up 0 on that check, Micah? You still not going?
It'd be tough, man. I don't know. It's a hard situation because the problem is, and I'm not getting political on this podcast, not what I want to do. You alienate people and people just assume something about you. So that's not what we're doing. But in signing a deal with Saudi, doing any events over there for a long period of time, history shows you that the Middle East always has high tensions. Very rarely has it not, since, in modern history.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you know what you're getting into by signing a long-term deal with Saudi Arabia, because even if Saudi's not in it, you're right beside Israel, you're right beside Iran, you're right beside Qatar. It's a hot button issue. Personally, I don't want to see anybody hurt from any side, but especially, Americans thousands of miles away from their homes. So, I kind of feel like we should have a hands-off approach on it, and especially WWE, like they definitely need to make the absolute assurance that everybody over there is going to be safe, because that would just be like, I hate to say this because like Ibu put something out on Twitter and he was like, I don't feel bad for the wrestlers because they're millionaires. I feel bad for the civilians caught in the middle. And I do agree with that. But at the same time, like these are people we watch every week on TV. So you do kind of feel a sense of worry for their safety. So ultimately, I just hope everyone's off without a hitch.
Yeah. And I mean, They have an obligation to finish out that contract. So, I mean, we'll see when the contract is up. I think it's up. Is it 2 years, Micah?
Think
I think it,
so.
yeah, I think they got 2 more years left on the deal. They may re-sign for another deal, but I don't know, man. The Saudi shows always just have a weird vibe to me. It's nothing to do with the fans over there. It's just, I don't know. They treat it like a fever dream. It's like it's a sort of stacked card, but then like the matches don't live up to the hype, and then you'll get wrestlers past their prime, and I don't know, man. So it's a weird show, and they have it twice a year, and I think they're gonna have it 3 times next year when they have the Royal Rumble in Saudi. I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah, it's always a like we've talked about it because we've done so many of them. But it is like it's like a separate booked universe, and then
Yeah.
once it's over, it's like back to where we were like a month previous.
Were you watching when Mansoor was like Hulk Hogan over there? Like he never lost.
No, I missed
He was
that
booked,
whole thing.
bro. He was booked so strong. I think he beat Cesaro at one of them. I think he won like a 30-man battle royal. Like he was booked so strong over there in Saudi Arabia. And then when you get back, you just never saw him at all, ever. Until, he popped up in the greatest tag team of our generation, Maximum Male Models.
And they have that great ad. And, no sponsor, but I am drinking Nestle Pure Life right now. If you'd like to send anything our way, I'm a
Look
fan.
at you. Yeah, okay. All right.
But yeah, the Saudi shows, it is always kind of odd, but I will say this, I think you've had one of the best takes, and I'm not just saying that because you're, the host, the Scoop Slam podcast. I think you have had one of the best takes I've ever heard about Saudi, which is they have fans over there too. And those fans over there deserve to be entertained. So it's not like the government is not an indictment of the people that live there. The same way that I hope that we wouldn't be judged off the foolish decisions that our government make. And I'm not saying that. I don't care about party. I'm just any government if the past 20 years of my life has made dumb decisions. So don't, crucify me for that. But like you said, they have fans over there. They deserve to be entertained, and it's not their fault of what their richest of richest does.
Hey, bro, I got a buddy that he said his stepdad or father-in-law went over there to Saudi, and he said that that's one of the best places on earth. Like he was treated like a king over there. The people are nice. So, man, they are. I mean, the fans deserve to be entertained.
Yeah, there's a lot of aircraft mechanic like jobs and stuff over there.
Yeah.
So I know a bunch of people. Yeah, because it's there's good money over there. I'll just leave it at that, and I won't throw anybody under the bus, but there is money to be made over there. But personally, I enjoy being here in the United States of America. So
can you imagine how it's gonna look heat-wise over there on Saturday?
Oh, Jesus.
Bro, it's miserable here in Southeast Alabama. Can you imagine what it looks like in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in June?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was 100 degrees in New York today.
Man, I know we got it 115 in Arizona.
Jesus.
It's June, bro. It's June. We ain't in August. Man.
I hate summer. Summer has the best PR of all time. I don't understand it because people just like, oh, the beach. But you go to the beach, like we live within a great driving distance of the beach. You go twice a year, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not always cracked up to be. I would rather be able to wear, a flannel and pants all year round. Or even, some shorts with like a light hoodie. That's comfortable. I don't like having to wear, the thinnest clothing possible I can find. And anything black in the summer is off limits because it's just 10 times worse at that point.
Yeah, I don't know how the young folks out there be rocking the hoodies in this weather, man. You be seeing that? The people pulling up, going to like Walmart in the hoodies. Like, how did you get here with that hoodie on, sir?
I don't know. Hop in the car and have a heat stroke. I mean, daggum.
Hey, but on the
But
plus side, Michael, this is the coolest summer we're ever gonna have in our lifetimes.
yeah, I guess that's true.
We're gonna be praying for times like this.
Yeah, because
15 years.
I kid you not, I told my coworker today, I said, this is probably like one of the worst parts of our job is having to deal with the heat. And he was like, yeah, just think about this. You got to do 40 more years of it. And then I looked at him, I said, well, the problem is in 40 years, it's going to be like 120 every day. So, really, really approaching life with a glass half full
There you go.
mindset.
There you go.
But we got to approach the wrestling at some point in time. So we will open up the show, the wrestling review part of the show, with AEW Dynamite from Arena, Mexico, in, I believe, Mexico City. They call it the Cathedral of Wrestling. It was a partnership episode of Dynamite with CMLL. And I thought it was a very cool atmosphere, something that maybe is not as usual in AEW. As of late, they had a very raucous crowd that was, very excited to be there. And AEW had this thing early on where they ran these unique venues. Daly's place even was kind of unique. It had a different charm to it. Grand Slam. And
they had the episode on Jericho's Cruise too. Yeah, they had a lot of unique venues for that first year.
Yeah. So to kind of go here for the first time, it was a very cool show, and I was kind of interested to see how they were going to do everything. That brings us to what to me was my favorite match of the show, MJF versus Mystico.
Sin Cara.
Yeah, otherwise known as Sin Cara, which I will say I wasn't a big fan when he was stateside, but I know he's a big deal in Mexico, so I was very interested to see how this was going to turn out. What an entrance. Holy crap. They came alive for him. Which I guess, I've heard he's their big star. He's their Cena down there. But man, that was a really it was one of the best entrances in AEW in a while.
Yeah, it was a great entrance, but then the bell rang, Micah. And I don't know, man. This didn't do it for me. I didn't see anything that I didn't see from Sin Cara 15 years ago, and I wasn't a fan of it then. But MJF played to the crowd well. Maybe Mystico. Apparently, a lot of Mystico's offense just pointing to the crowd and clapping.
Well, I enjoyed it. I kind of knew. The thing is I just expected MJF to not get in with the lucha style because he doesn't. So I kind of expected it to be more of this play to the crowd.
You thought it was going to be a clash of styles, which it kind of was.
Well, I thought it was going to be, but at the same time, I thought, well, maybe they just have a kind of basic match where MJF gets some heat. Mystico is, the Hogan, and he panders to the crowd, and the people get into it. Ultimately, I think the people did get into it, and I didn't notice anything that was just downright insulting. And in a very different spectrum, but just follow me here because it's not as big as this. But it was kind of like a Rock and Hogan where it's like, what did the moves?
Come on.
No.
What?
Just follow. Hear me out. Hold on, because I know what you're thinking. I'm not comparing that match. I'm saying the way that match really was not all about the moves in the ring. It was more about the crowd reaction. That's more of why I thought this was a good match.
Okay. All right. Maybe if I was a big Mystico fan, I probably would have felt a different way watching this. But man, I just thought it was a waste of MJF. Looks like they're building to a rematch here. You think they build it to the All In show?
I hope not. But I really, at the same time, I don't know who they're going to have MJF work for All In.
It's got to be Mystico, right? You think they do mask versus hair transplant?
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying, Mike. Come on. They got to put something on the line. He took his mask. He being MJF.
Yeah, I just don't know. I feel like they would have MJF face like a young guy, maybe, but man, like
Who?
he's been there for so long. I really don't even is new for him to face.
Is there any of the top guys he hasn't had a match with?
No, I mean he's fought Paige, Swerve, Osprey, Lee. That's what I'm saying. Like I guess you know it could be Mystico.
Yeah, maybe they should do that hair match. Bro, he could just be bald like Bobby and Shelton. He's already
That
got the
would
singlet like MVP.
that would be a sight to see. I was gonna bring that up too. I did like the MVP tribute attire. He's had that for a couple weeks now.
You think this was a direct ripoff of El Grande Americano? I was told that was the most racist gimmick of all time. Like that's what I was told. But when MJF does it, it's the greatest heel heat that the world's ever seen. I don't understand it. Make that make sense.
Well, it has been a week nearly. Refresh my memory. What are you talking about? The fact that he took his mask?
Just the whole American flag aspect and the American flag gear. You didn't get El Grande Americano vibes from that?
No, it did. That didn't jump off the page at me. At first, at first, I thought you were comparing Mystico to him, and I was like,
Oh, come on now.
I don't know how to answer this question.
But you know, man, just I don't know. Maybe it was just me.
Well, I don't hate the El Grande Americano gimmick. That's
But a
another
lot of
thing.
people online do though.
And I don't get that. You know, it's
What?
it's a very like plainly stated wrestling gimmick. Like it's supposed to be stupid. And I don't really understand how it's
But
I don't know. I'm not Hispanic.
but Micah, he's built from the Gulf of America. So clearly that's a MAGA dog whistle. You fed shield, you pedophile.
You're supposed to not like him for that reason. Like apply that same garbage excuse y'all give John Cena that you're not supposed to like his heel run. It's supposed to suck. Well, apply that to a character that it actually makes sense for.
Yeah, bro. It's
Fed
a lot of people
bad.
reaching on. Yeah. Oh, fed. A lot of people reaching online with that.
Following that, I will say we had Zeuxis versus Mercedes. Oh, go ahead.
Look, hey, there was a no contest there. I know sometimes we don't.
Oh yeah.
We don't tell people who won the match sometimes, but it was a no contest. So yeah, congratulations to both guys.
Yeah, which I thought was a good way to get out of it because you don't hurt either guy. Plus, if going by the trend that we were thinking here and they stretch this out to all in, you do still kind of have some meat on the bone to get to an eventual conclusion.
You know those luchadors, man, those big drawing luchadors, they don't like to do jobs, bro.
No. But following that, we had for the CMLL Women's Championship, I believe. If I don't have that name right, I apologize.
No, you do. No, that is. That's what it was.
Okay. Zeuxis versus Mercedes Moné. And Ryan, I feel like we have seen Zeuxis before in something AEW related, but I don't remember why or where.
I believe she was Stephanie Vacure's tag partner in Mexico, but I don't know if we've seen her in AEW before. I don't watch Collision, bro. That's the Luchador show. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you see who the Marty Jannetty of that tag team was.
Come on now. You made me watch this whole thing, bro.
I did. Well, listen, so admittedly, we have not really talked a ton about Mercedes this year because a lot of times her feuds feel, what's the word? Reign of Terror Triple H-esque, where it's like, you know who's going to win.
She's got that Triple H belt meme, but in actual real life going on.
Yeah.
Remember on WWE where he got crowned every champion?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Sheamus did too, didn't he? In one of them.
Yeah, he did. Maybe
I
that's what I'm
think
thinking of. Was it Sheamus or Triple H?
I
No,
think
I think it built. So Triple H's Road to WrestleMania storyline started after the Sheamus one, and so he. Am I misremember? It bled into his storyline after you finished Sheamus's one. Am I misremembering that, Micah?
no, I know the Sheamus one. Like I have a mental image of that from the game, but I think maybe the Triple H one's photoshopped. But I don't know. Hold that. We can do some research. Google's free.
Okay, all right.
That's
I
what the
thought that
AEW fans always tell me when I don't know that there's different styles of wrestling, Ryan. Google's
yeah.
free.
You don't know who El Hijo Blue Demon Jr. Senior the Third is, Micah? You pedophile. Google's free, buddy.
Oh, my favorite picture, real quick, of anybody with a bunch of belts is Ultimo Dragon because he had like 10 in the 90s. I
Yeah,
think
people.
the Triple H one is Photoshop, but the Sheamus one is from the game.
No, ain't no way that was photo. I remember that happening. That
Maybe
happened.
maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe some
I don't
Mandela.
know. Yeah. Well, anyways, the match, Zeuxis versus Mercedes Moné. A couple things I'll hit real quick. I know you were not a big fan of this. I really wasn't a big fan of it either. I thought it was a little clunky. It didn't look like they had the greatest chemistry in the ring. Not sure why. But the spot where she caught Mercedes and hit I don't really know what they called it. It was a face buster, code breaker type thing. I thought that was pretty nice. It looked brutal. But the main thing I really wanted to talk about was the end. And, Mercedes ended up winning in an unexpected way. I wasn't expecting, the match to end there. But I did have a feeling that she was going to win. And where are we at with Mercedes now? Because obviously she's got this feud going in with Tony going into All In. But what really, like, I get people are saying that Mercedes is having this all-time run, this all-time, she's women's wrestler of the year, and I'm pretty sure she's going to dethrone Tony at All In. But other than just having the belts, what has Mercedes done this year?
She had that steak dinner on Dynamite 2 weeks ago. Remember that?
Yeah, she had some HLA with Tony, didn't she?
I think 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, yeah. She's got a lot
But
of
I
belts.
mean,
She's got a lot of
like,
belts.
can you remember a great match this year from Mercedes or a great storyline with Mercedes? A great promo?
Okay, that's we got 2 for 3. She's had good matches this year. That's all I got.
Sure. But I mean, that's my thing. Like they are really like putting the rocket ship on her.
Yeah.
And sure, she is the biggest star in the women's division that they have. I get that 100%.
Is she?
But well, who would you put over her? Tony, maybe?
Yeah, a lot of the people online seem to think Tony.
See, but I wouldn't put her as my women's wrestler of the year either. Like, I don't know.
What? She's wrestler of the year, you fed shield. Open your eyes.
Yeah, pedophile got me. Book me, officer. I'm guilty. I don't know, man. I'm not even saying that the Becky Lyra feud was great, but at least like I remember that happened. I genuinely do not remember Mercedes' storyline this year outside of this one that's currently going on. I remember the one when she came into AEW Willow because I thought Willow should have went over because she started getting over, and now you see where she is.
I just brought her promos a week, man. Like she'll come out there and just you were talking about Triple H Reign of Terror. She'll come out there for 15, 20 minutes, just tell us how great she is. She'll dance around a little bit. And she says nothing that grabs you. It's just like it's just there. It's not good there either. It's just like, all right, turn the TV off there. You know?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I see a lot of love for her online. And again, I'm not saying she's bad. She
But
hasn't done anything insulting this year.
it just seems like they're trying to mask all her blandness by just making her a holder of another title that nobody cares about. She has how many titles, Micah? She has 1,000 titles and she ain't never drew a dime.
I know she has the TBS, the CMLL Women's. She has, I think, a Stardom Championship, or either
The
like the New Japan one.
the West Virginia Intergender Wrestling World Champion.
Yeah.
And she has
That
that.
father and son tag title that AEW apparently had in development this year. Did you see that story?
No, I didn't. I don't know what that is. What's that?
Oh
Big
yeah,
AJ and is Big AJ coming out of retirement for that?
Oh man, I actually would pop for that one. No, apparently AEW was like either they did or they were making like a father-son tag team championship. And I think it was supposed to be like basically a gimmick piece for Nick Wayne and Christian.
Hey man,
But
what?
you know, well, all we can do here is give belts to people. We can't actually have any
Well,
good
yeah.
storylines.
No, that mask, all the lack of storylines. Which this show in general, Dynamite, it didn't have a lot going on as far as storyline goes. I mean, it was a cool atmosphere as far as the Mexican crowd, but I didn't come away from this particularly thinking this was an all time show. Did you?
No, it wasn't an all-time show. I mean, like I said earlier, I feel like it was good in a vacuum, but in terms of like moving the story along, which I figured they weren't gonna do, honestly, but it was just kind of there in terms of like storylines on the way to All In. But
Yeah.
it was a cool like moment, and we didn't really talk about it, but Hangman cutting a
Oh
promo
God.
in Spanish to open up the show. I figured you would at least have some opinion on that.
Uh, uh yeah, it was there for me. I didn't cream my pants like Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer did. But yeah, he very talented guy, I guess, as far as speaking Spanish, but I still don't particularly like his character or his gimmick. I don't think he was the right guy for the job to take the title off Moxley, but we're here, so
Yeah,
it was
we'll
good
see
for
what
that.
happens.
It was good for that audience. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was good in the house. But in terms of like moving the storylines, whatever. But I thought Dynamite was a good show this past week. But that brings us to WWE SmackDown, which has been not a good show in a while.
Well,
um,
prayers have been answered. They are going back to 2 hours.
yes, thank God. And like I saw somebody tweet today, wrestling is the only media that people will clamor for, like people get excited for less of. But like, dude, as somebody, we got a job, we got the podcast to record, and so like that already kind of entails us to watch all of this stuff. But like,
Mhm.
man, 6 hours a week of strictly WWE, throw on the extra 2 of AEW, that's a full day of work for me and you.
Well, and eh, that's tough though, bro, because wrestling is still and will always be a story based thing. So I mean, what's your favorite TV show, Mike? All time? How I Met Your Mother? That it?
Oh, come on. That
I'm
was
just
that
I'm
was low hanging fruit
I'm
for
just
you.
asking. I'm asking.
You could pick your favorite. I like Game of Thrones or The
Okay,
Sopranos.
okay. Sopranos. We'll go with that. So with the Sopranos, if they had an episode twice a week, 52 weeks a year, would you be clamoring for more Sopranos at that point?
No.
So I think it's just a bad faith argument when people say, "Oh well, we got there's too much wrestling. Well, I mean, because they don't take an off season, bro.
Yeah.
If they had an off season, it'd be different. But I don't know. Wrestling's
Let's-
weird like that.
It's the same way. Like when football season comes back around, we big Alabama fans here on the podcast. So the first couple weeks of college football, dude, I will sit there and watch it all day on Saturdays. Like I love it. Like at the 11 o'clock, I don't care if it's Rutgers and Penn State, I'll watch it just because like I have an itch for it. But towards the back half of the season, I'm typically just checking out the Alabama game and whatever big game is on. If it's, like two top ranked teams. And with wrestling, you don't get that like, oh man, the new season started, like you said. It's just, it is always there. And, I like anime. I like animated shows. I like real shows. But, after a while, it's like, if I watch a bunch of anime, then it's like, I want to go watch a real show for a little bit. Like, it's just different. or a live action show.
Yeah. Just burying anime there.
No, that's not what I meant. I didn't even realize the connotation I was putting on that until you said, oh.
Yeah,
but
man. It's no off season. No off season.
Yeah. You can't watch the same genre all the time. You can't play the same genre of game all the time and be fine with that. So it's the same argument.
Yeah.
But SmackDown gave us one of the King of the Ring semifinals, which was Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. And I was kind of interested to see because I don't really remember seeing these two ever have a match. I'm sure they have in the past, but it is kind of a clash of styles. Randy has that powerhouse ability. Sammy is more of a underdog. Like everything kind of looks not polished. And that was another thing that I was thinking with the Swerve and Ospreay stuff, man. Like Swerve and mainly Ospreay, his style is so like crisp and clean to the point that it almost feels like manufactured. Whereas you see a guy like Sammy, and it's like nothing that Sammy does ever looks exactly the same. And I think that's some of the charm to Sammy.
Yeah.
But for this match, it was a really good back and forth. The people were invested. I was invested because I genuinely did not know who was going to win. If I had to bet, I thought it was going to be Sammy. Towards the end of the match, they had an RKO reversal that Sammy caught into a Blue Thunder Bomb. Thought that was a cool spot. He never finishes anybody with it, but I thought it's probably leading to the finish. And then it did, but just in Randy's favor. He catches him with one RKO and ball game. Randy is in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, which we will get to a little later who his opponent will be.
Yeah. Bro, do you think WWE is getting a little too stagnant in the main event scene? Because we're getting Randy Orton in the main event again. Cena's main event in all these shows. Goldberg just came back. Do you think there's an over reliance on all these older guys? I think we need some new blood in this main event scene. I think the best opportunity we could have had to do that would have been to have Sammy, going all the way here and maybe eventually be in the main event of SummerSlam. I think that would have been a step in the right direction. Do you think they're relying on the old town a little too much, Micah?
I will say this. I get like people have clamored for this. Well, I guess, if you're listening to the podcast, you probably saw Raw. The final is Cody versus Randy. And I know that people have been wanting to see that for a while, but I feel like Sammy competing for King of the Ring in Saudi would have been such a big moment. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. But then think about this too. Think about Sammy versus Jay. Like all the history that they have. That could have been a great match. And I also could have seen either of those guys winning. But when you throw Cody and Randy in there, I feel like we're just automatically getting Cody again. And for some reason, we haven't seen this since Cody came back. But it kind of feels like we already have.
Yeah, it does. And if we're gonna get this match, which I knew they were gonna get to it eventually, I don't want to see it with a 1 week, not even a 1 week build. This is happening this week in 3 days. So I think the first time we do see it, it should have been more special and not just the finals of King of Ring turn.
And I know the direction, I think we can probably both tell that the direction they're going to go in, Cody's going to win.
Are you sure?
Maybe not, but I feel like Cody's going to win. And then they're going to, this is going to be the catalyst to Randy eventually turning heel. Which is all fine and dandy because Randy's best work is a heel, but
yeah,
I don't think Cody needed this to get back to Cena. Just like I don't think Randy needed it to get back to Cena, if that's where they're leading.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm a little. They could go in a couple directions here, because I don't think they necessarily have to go back to Cena and Cody for SummerSlam. They could build up the Cody versus Cena for Cena's last match and Cena doing the job for Cody. But then if you get Randy versus Cena again, bro, I don't know.
I would rather have Cody win it.
Well, do you remember that match they had at WrestleMania?
Yeah, but I also remember that match they had at Backlash, I know you liked it. It was better than the WrestleMania match, but the only reason I don't think they hold off Cody and Cena for Cena's last match is I think Cena eventually turns back at some point. I don't think he stays heel for the whole run.
But you don't have to necessarily have to have Cody take the title off Cena. Cena could get the title taken off him before that, and he could turn back babyface, and then last match, you got babyface versus babyface, Cody versus Cena.
Oh, I guess that is true. But who takes the belt off Cena? Don't say Randy.
Would it be
secretly? I wish it would be Punk, but
yeah, that's what I was
going to
happen. I was gonna say, would it be the end of the world if Punk took it off?
No, that's the best case scenario, but it's just not going to happen.
Well, hopefully there's no tables at ringside, because if CM Punk goes through that, bro, it's over for him. I laid down for like 30 minutes on that table the other night.
Well, we can kind of segue this into the Cena pipe bomb, as it became known online.
You're a big fan of this, huh?
I personally, if this is the one thing from the show that you haven't seen, go out of your way to see it. I very much enjoyed this promo. As a kid that grew up, I never really was a big Cena guy, so I don't understand all the love for him that some people have. But I was always a big Punk fan. This was probably like peak fandom for me, the pipe bomb. So the callbacks here were good. And I think Cena ultimately opened up more as a heel for the first time.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea, but I just didn't think the execution was done right. It just kind of felt lackluster. Cena kind of was carrying himself like he was going to say something controversial, and he never really did in this promo. Like, this wasn't pipe bomby enough for me. Like, I grew up on the Cena, the Super Cena and CM Punk. I grew up on all those feuds too, Micah. I just didn't think this was a great promo. It was fine. It didn't hit like the Punk one did 14 years ago.
I think that
wasn't even close.
Well, I don't think it's close, but it's also hard to live up to something like that because that was a moment in time.
Well, they have so much history, bro. You gotta throw some more personal shots there, bro. Like, he threw more personal shots at Cody when they were having their back and forth.
Well, I mean, he had a lot of stuff at Punk, though, calling him a hypocrite, saying that like he walked away from the business.
Everybody
the Saudi thing.
Well, he didn't mention that directly. That would have been good.
Yeah, but he alluded to it.
Yeah, but just alluding to something isn't saying something. Micah, come on. You don't
Well,
think
I
he could have
think
dug a little deeper on these shots that he had for Punk?
secret or inwardly, I really wish instead of Claudio and them, he had mentioned the Young Bucks and Hangman.
Oh,
That would
God.
have been like the icing on the cake, man.
He
But
would
I
have looked
do
around like,
think,
Who?
yeah, well, but yeah, but it's if you know, you know type deal. Do you think there's any validity to the theory?
No, I don't. I think you're reaching. I seen the same thing you saw. I saw that. What was it that he was alluding to?
Claudio
Colt Cabana.
Castagnoli, yeah, 2 C's for Colt Cabana, and then Nick Nemeth for Nick Jackson, Matt Cardona for Matt Jackson. I
don't
could
know,
see
man.
it. I don't think it's out
Oh,
of the realm
really?
of possibility.
Bro, you're gonna need the whiskey ladder that they had for the Money in the Bank to get that reach, man. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
But then
Reach a little too
what
hard.
other sense does Claudio and Matt Cardona and Nick Nemeth make?
Were those are guys that CM Punk mentioned in the podcast where he buried the whole company in 2015? Those are guys that he mentioned.
See, I didn't recall that.
Well, I do my research here. I remember listening to that podcast a couple times.
It's a good listen. Even now, knowing everything that we know, it's still a good listen.
Is it scrubbed from the internet? I can't. I don't know. I ain't seen it in a while.
No, it's I think it's on YouTube.
Okay, all right.
So I don't. Oh man, that would be a fun episode actually. I have to censor that one. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think that largely the Cena run has been kind of bleh to me, but I do think that I think that this was better than most of the other stuff. I know that's not a high bar to jump over, but I don't know. He actually was talking about Punk, whereas, a lot of times we've kind of harped on the fact that he just is talking about the fans constantly.
Yeah.
And he kind of was grilling Punk about not being the voice of the voiceless anymore. Like, you're the voice of $1 billion company. You're Mr. TKO, which is kind of weird because they've never I don't think Punk has done anything more TKO positive than anybody else that's there, especially when Cena's kind of backing Vince, which I wish that's something Punk would play into. But, I don't know. I still very much enjoyed it, and I think it's his best promo to date as of 2025. I don't think it's promo of the year, though.
You think it was better than that Cody back and forth?
What? It's close. Maybe I'm biased because it, is Punk and Cena. So maybe I do have a little bit of bias in that aspect, but I don't know. I personally enjoyed this one more than I did that one.
Was that the strongest table of all time?
Oh God, that was the thing that started this too, and I forgot to bring it up.
Was it the Slim Jim logo that has a devastating power to it? I don't. Does CM Punk not have any friends, or the doctors
CM Punk
at
was being held down by the brand.
Why the doctors didn't roll in the ring and check on man?
That's a good point. Maybe because there was no immediate danger, but I didn't like. Well, I was gonna say I didn't like it because if you remember the original pipe bomb, Cena had been put through a table, but by the end of it, he's sitting up. He's just he's just kind of sitting on his tail, with his hands on his knees.
Yeah.
But Punk just sat there on the table, or through the table for like 10 minutes. It was a bad shot. I can agree with you there, but I think what more bothers me with the security is when they never show up when they're actually fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, or when they pick and choose, like sometimes they send out like 30 security guards during a women's brawl or something, and then you get no security guards for when the top babyface in the company is getting beat down by 5 other guys. It's just very random that is.
Yeah.
And one more thing, bro, we can move on. But I hate how we got the feud that we've been most looking forward to John Cena's last run. We're getting it with a 2-week build. Hate that so much. Like it's all downhill from here because this is what the match that we were looking forward to, this program we're looking forward to, and we're getting it, and it's all right. See you later.
Yeah, and what really gets me is retrospective history. The fact that they had Jay lose the world title right after Money in the Bank to me makes the entire plot of Cena going into Money in the Bank make no sense. They could have ran Punk there and gotten a way longer build out of it, and like it would have meant a lot more, where that whole thing really kicked off. And instead we got this kind of like haphazardly thrown together tag match that in turn didn't really do anything for anybody. Like Logan hasn't been seen since. Jay lost the title right after. And Cody kind of went on his own little journey to get back to Cena.
Yeah,
So I mean,
that made the least amount of sense. Cody pinning John Cena in that match, bro, because that should be the justification of him getting a title shot. But if they were just gonna have him win King of the Ring anyway, then why the heck did they even have that match and have Cena lose to Cody?
yeah.
What was the point? Unless they're going a completely different direction. I'm just jumping the gun. But it didn't seem like it was necessary in hindsight.
I don't think WWE has proven us wrong yet this year that we're jumping the gun to any conclusions about the booking.
You tell me the final boss isn't going to show up to save the storyline any day now, Michael?
Oh gosh. That's what really makes me sick. That's probably the one thing I was wrong this year, which was like I just wasn't expecting that. And then I thought it was going to be something great. And ever since
we got catfish from last year, bro.
Yeah, ever since that freaking moment, man, it's like we got sent down an alternate bad booking universe.
At least we're not getting a Travis Scott match. Yeah.
Oh God. Have you seen that yeah, yet is the key word. Have you seen that Astro World documentary they put on Netflix?
Nah, I've heard things here and there, but what, should I check it out?
Yeah, it's an interesting watch. They have some of the people that like were friends with the people that ended up passing away in it, and it's really not. It's a really sad story because it's completely avoidable, but it's also horrible PR for Travis right now if they were to try and involve him in anything.
Yeah. Well, I don't think PR is I don't think it's a deal breaker with TKO at the moment, bro.
Well, yeah, you got me there.
They still shilling Hogan's beer every week now.
Real American beer with a real American flavor.
My dad works at a beer warehouse, man, where he picks beer all day. He says that he has never picked the Hogan beer. It just sits there. Nobody buys it.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best local story that we have. Oh, that's hilarious. No, you either got real American beer or Ric Flair crapping himself in Florida restaurants.
Have you seen that? What is?
I don't know, man. I don't even know where to begin.
Is Rick just determined to drink himself to death, bro? Like, does he have any family out there?
As somebody, I will say this. As somebody who had a father that flew too close to the sun and could never get away from that lifestyle, I don't think there's any convincing. Just honest to God.
Hey, man.
I mean, I wasn't trying to put a bad spin on it, but I'm just being honest. Like, eventually you get so used to that lifestyle that you don't know how to walk away from it.
Just crazy. Two biggest stars of, the the generation, the 80s and 90s, are two guys that you're that aren't very nice guys nowadays, Micah.
Yeah.
They got bad PR attached to them now.
Yeah. You don't really know what to think about them, huh?
Yeah. But when that music hits, though, Mike,
well,
and they walk
I
down
did
that
not.
aisle, hey man, if I hear Real American, I'm standing up.
Well, speaking of old timers, we got Monday Night Raw, and
God.
to start that off, we got the Goldberg sit down promo with Michael Cole.
It's all right. You know, overstays welcome.
It was short, and that was probably the best thing I can say about it.
I feel like they didn't. I don't know. Was there was problems here with the production because Michael Cole had to add on like 2 or 3 things at the end. I don't know if you started skipping forward after the promo, but Michael Cole was talking about how. Well, I actually asked Goldberg at the end of the interview, "Is this truly his retirement match?" And he says yes. And I'm like, well, why didn't they say that in the sit-down interview? And then he adds on, "Oh, so what are you gonna do?" He being Michael Cole. He asked Goldberg, "What are you gonna do after if you win the title in your last match?" And then, bro, it just went on and on. I'm like, well, wait, why didn't we see any of this in the sit-down interview? That seems like more interesting stuff than what Goldberg was saying.
Yeah, I actually probably would have stuck around for it if that was the case.
Yeah, bro. Why didn't the camera stop rolling when you were asking these questions, Mike? What are you doing?
It almost seemed a little bit like I don't know, maybe like it kind of seemed like they weren't filmed in the same room. I don't know how to explain that.
You think it was AI?
Well, I mean, it does some crazy things these days.
I thought they were sitting a little too close for comfort, actually.
Well, it's like that thing that they used to do with the NBA players where they made them like they put their knees up to each other.
Yeah. I thought of the Shaq and Kobe sit down.
Yes, that's immediately what I'm thinking of. But I think the thing that really irked me more than anything about it was, dude, this happened last October. Like, we were there when it happened. It's like just now, this has pissed you off so bad.
Well, I mean, Micah, he's an older gentleman. You got to train and get right for your last match. You can't just say, I'm having my last match tomorrow. I mean, what if he was out of shape? What if he was dealing with an injury?
Well, I mean, all that can be true, but I don't know. It just kind of, maybe it feels like too little too late. Not for the retirement of Goldberg, but maybe for like what the storyline was trying to accomplish. But also,
yeah,
did this need the title? Because we didn't record last week talking about all this fall to Raw. But why does this have to include the title?
I'm conflicted, bro. I'd see what the appeal could be because this isn't for us. These are for the lapsed fans of 20 plus years ago that remember Goldberg. And they might be flipping the channels if anybody still does that and catch NBC and they see the entrance. I'm like, wait a minute, I remember this guy. He was a bad 1998. I'll stick around for this. It's for those type of fans. Can see that appeal. Goldberg still is a draw, and Goldberg still gets a reaction in the live arena. I mean, you saw that show a couple weeks ago when he came out to that monster reaction. He still gets a big
pop.
Yeah, he gets a big pop. But Micah, I saw something online that said if you went back to 1998 and had superstar Billy Graham main event, like Over the Edge or something, that would be the equivalent of Goldberg coming back in 2025 and main event the PLE. And I was like, surely there's no way. But then I started doing the math, Mike, and I was like, well, wait a minute. That is the same thing. So it's a double-edged sword, man. I see where they're going. if you're a fan that watches week to week, that's the last thing you want to see is a Goldberg match. But you gotta open your eyes and see that wrestling is and will always be an attraction business. And Goldberg still is an attraction that pops a number and gets eyes on the product. So I don't see it as a big problem that this is a championship title match. And we know it's not gonna go long. They have weird commercial breaks and Saturday night's main event. We'll probably see the whole match before the commercial break even starts. It probably go 2 minutes, bro, if we're being honest.
Of course, you would talk about the numbers, you bed shill.
Oh.
Why do you care about the numbers of a billion-dollar corporation?
I gotta point out reality, though. Come on, gotta point out
Exactly.
reality. Yeah, we gotta call a spade here on the Scoop Slam podcast.
But people don't understand that when you start talking about numbers. They're just like, why do you care? Well, I don't have to care about the money they're making, but it is an argument. So I see your point, you know. I just think they could have accomplished all of that still without having to take the title off Jay.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Because I'm fine with Gunther being his final opponent. Like, that's cool. I think it'll be a decent match, and I'm morbidly curious to see how it happens. But I just felt like it's kind of at Jay's expense, and I think that's stupid. And, you know, people are going, oh, well, you're just a Jay fanboy. Like, I didn't even care that Jay won the Royal Rumble. You were here for that. You remember. But
yeah,
I still would have at least liked to seen the guy hold it and lose it to somebody different. We just had Gunther in the main event scene with the title, and that kind of carries into the promo that Gunther cut after this, which I thought was absolutely magnificent. He's extremely talented and is showing strides of, you know, coming along on the mic now too. And all of that I said is not to take away from Gunther, but it's more an indictment of Triple H and the way that he has booked Gunther, because it almost feels like he can't book him without the titles. But then when you let him go out there with a microphone, he cut the best promo of the week.
He did, bro. Like, Seth Rollins came out there and talked to us for 20 plus minutes, and Gunther accomplished more in those little 3 minutes that he cut the promo on Goldberg. I was like, why didn't we get this at the beginning of the show? It made no sense. But yeah, I agree. Gunther, man, came out fired up. I loved it.
And as well as the fact that, like, Gunther is kind of getting to this point, which is kind of rare now because we talk about this all the time. People sound so rehearsed, but he's starting to get to the point that I actually kind of believe the stuff that he's saying, you know, like a Punk, you know, and that's rarefied air in today's wrestling. Because I remember, you know, when him and Priest were having those feuds, and I was like, ugh, you know, the promos weren't there yet, but they're clicking now, and the in-ring work has always been there. So that's fine. Just Triple H, he does not need the title to be booked well, and he needs different challengers.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Triple H is doing a good job booking the main event scene as a whole. Because I'm not interested in any of these guys, bro. Like, it's more of the mid-card guys I would want to see take the next step to the main event scene. Like, I'm tired of Randy. I'm tired of John. CM Punk can stay, but I'm tired of Seth. I'm just tired of the same guys I've been seeing for 15 plus years have a stranglehold in his main event scene, bro. Like, are you getting that same feeling? It's just like, oh my God, again? We're having this match again? It just feels like that. I'm feeling like that every single SmackDown, it seems like.
Yeah. 100%. And they have some guys in NXT that could call up. But,
yeah,
you know, I can't take 100% credit for this because I did see it on Twitter. And had I thought about it in time, I would have, you know, gave credit. But somebody pointed out to me that every time that Seth Rollins is put to be like the figurehead of WWE,
I know where you're going with this. Yeah, go ahead.
It just doesn't click, and I think it's hilarious because there's people out there. Hey, again, this was a separate tweet, but I think they were retweeting that original thing, which was like Rollins is an A tier wrestler that people like force into S tier conversations. But when you really boil it down, like he has never been better than Roman Reigns in terms of being a draw. Like if Roman came out tomorrow on NXT, or not tomorrow, but if he came out Friday on SmackDown, people would care more about that than they do about Seth right now, and he's here every week.
He is, bro, and they put him in that same conversation with Shawn, bro, and that just seems so blasphemous for me because I've been watching Seth his whole career since he got here in 2012, and like you said, he's never been more over than Roman. If we're being honest, he was never more over than Dean Ambrose. And now he has a stranglehold on this main event scene on Raw, and it's just not clicking for me so far. This group, the Seth Riders, they don't have a official name yet, but I don't want to hear Seth talk. They got Heyman right there. Braun Breaker doesn't say a word. I ain't heard from Bronson in a month since he came back. Why is Seth cutting all these promos? Why is he in a never-ending feud with CM Punk?
You're asking questions that I don't have an answer to, but I have wondered myself.
I keep on fooling myself, Mike. I'm thinking, oh man, Seth's got a new coat of paint. It's gonna be really interesting stuff. And then he comes out there and you get the revolutionary Seth freaking Rollins, and then he just has the 2003, 2002 Triple H syndrome where he drones on, and it could have been summarized in like 5 minutes, but here we are sitting here 25 minutes later. It's just not clicking for me, man. And I don't know, I'm just really down on the main event scene in WWE right now.
I get you. I mean, everything it kind of feels like it's came to a screeching halt and nothing is moving. And even then when it does, like you said, nothing is really fresh. And more importantly, man, I really want to like this Seth thing. It's too early to say that like it's just a complete bust. But like, man, you've got the greatest manager of all time right there, and he doesn't say a word. That was what made Roman great. Was Heyman cut next level promos, and then Roman would take the mic.
He's right there. Let Braun Breaker have a say. Why can't he say anything?
That too. Well, see, that's the thing about the Bloodline that made the Bloodline great. And I'm not even saying, we got to compare the Seth Riders to that, but like there were promo segments where like Roman took the lead and that was fine, which Roman is a way better promo than Seth, sorry. But like when the Bloodline was really in its heyday, you had Sammy who could cut a good promo, and Jay and Jimmy who, I'm not hearing the slander, they can cut good promos. So like Braun he has such an interesting like aura about him. I know that term gets overused in wrestling, but like these guys draw you in. Just let them do their thing. But instead, it's like you said, Seth gets to drone on for 10 minutes and nothing really. Like you're no further than you were 10 minutes before. You're just right in the same spot. Like Seth is, and he always will be, and that's pretty much it. Like that. I don't really know how else to explain it.
Bro, it just hurts the show. I'd be so excited for Raw, and then I watch it, and Seth's the first thing I see, and then 30 minutes later, I'm just drained. I don't want to see anymore.
Yeah. So, to those same people that always have, said, oh, Seth is so great. Seth is the best member of the Shield. I don't ever think he's really I don't think he's ever overlapped his architect run.
Yeah, or his other guys that he was in a group with.
Yeah,
and
to that same.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to that same token, a lot of people like to say that Seth Rollins is better than Will Ospreay. They like to compare the two. Some people say Will Ospreay is better than Seth Rollins. But can we really look at the career trajectory of Seth Rollins and see where the masterful in-ring work gets you and where that may lead for Will Ospreay compared to a guy like Roman?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the blueprint right there, bro. That's old Willie Boy's future.
And once them knees go, like Seth, I mean, you're done. You're cooked.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to get some character work. And I can't ever say Seth, like, really has had masterful character work. Again, A tier superstar.
Yeah.
But does not belong in S tier conversation. He is not better than Shawn and will never be.
No, heck no. Blasphemous.
Real quick, Cody ended up beating Jay. I thought it was a good back and forth. People were dogging it online. It was a fine match. There was nothing egregious. Like, I don't. People just have such a hate boner for Jay Uso right now, and I don't get it, man. The match was not bad.
Yeah, then Cody pulled off was that a diamond cutter from the top rope?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a run-of-the-mill TV main event match between two baby faces, and Jay is at the point now that he was kind of getting the same reactions as Cody. So, like,
yeah, Jay had his working boots on, bro. He's had his working boots on since WrestleMania. We're being honest. Is that a good match?
Yeah, but oh no, people, Jay bad, LOL, dead bad.
6 words. Buried.
Well, speaking of buried, we got a pay-per-view this weekend, or a PLE, sorry.
Oh,
and
there you
just as a precursor, I may have said this earlier in the show or off air or whatever. Having some technical issues, so if you've been joining us for the TikTok streams of the pay-per-views, just stay tuned on TikTok. I'm gonna see if I can record this weekend for you guys. So we will have the live stream for Night of Champions if everything goes to plan. If it doesn't, just stay updated on the TikTok. I'll let everybody know probably Friday night what things are looking like.
It'll be the afternoon of Champions at that point. It's just coming on at 12 o'clock our time, Mike.
Oh, the early show. I don't know that people are going to love us early. Typically, our podcasts that we do early never make it to it.
Barely get out of bed at 12 o'clock.
Yeah. But to bring us to the Night of Champions card, the King of the Ring tournament final, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Ryan, who you got?
I'm going to go Randy here. Why not? I'm going to go Randy.
Interesting. I think I'm going to go Cody, just for the sake of, I guess it makes the most sense. I would rather Cody win, if we're being honest.
Randy's going to lose 2 years in a row in King of the Ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
He can take the loss.
Okay. Now, do we remember what the WrestleMania match looked like with Cody and Cena? Remember that, right?
Yeah. I'm not clamoring for either of these guys to win, but I'm just giving my thoughts.
We got to have a winner.
Maybe a black hole open up in the middle of the ring and eat both of them. But for the Queen of the Ring tournament fight, we got Asuka versus Jade Cargill.
I think it's Jade. It has to be Jade.
Yeah, I don't think Asuka needs it. Plus, she don't really have a ton of momentum right now. But let me ask you, Ryan, who does Jade go for? Is it Tiffany or is it going to be EO?
I think it's Tiffany, and then we get a cash in with Naomi. And we build to like a fall program with Naomi, Jade, and Bianca somewhere in there. I can see that happening.
While Jade, I think, gets a bad rep, I don't think she is great in the ring, don't get me wrong. But I don't quite think she's ready for that stage. And that's okay. She hadn't been there that long. But, maybe if she can have a program with Naomi, come out of it as champion, maybe next year's WrestleMania or Survivor Series, however long it takes, I think that would be better for her long term. Following that, for the United States Championship, Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa, which I'm kind of surprised this is here and not on SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm surprised Jacob is giving Solo a U.S. title opportunity because has Solo won a match in months? Like a singles match?
I think he qualified for Money in the Bank.
But that was like a triple threat match. I mean, like a one-on-one singles match. Has he won any of those last year?
Him and Finn Balor got the same, you know.
And it's crazy because Solo used to be so protected, bro. Remember
Yeah.
that?
And going back to the Seth Riders thing, I saw people comparing that era Bloodline ran by Solo compared to the Seth Riders, and they were like, dude, y'all hated this, but look at the reactions Solo was getting compared to the reactions Seth is getting.
Yeah.
So
They actually had a pretty good back and forth promo on SmackDown too. I don't know if you caught it.
No, I didn't. I saw a clip online and I meant to go back and watch it, but then you know how it is. Like throughout the week, I just kind of lost track of it.
Yeah.
But who you got? I'm assuming Jacob or no contest.
I got a debuting Hikuleo helping Solo Sikoa.
Wow.
So I got Solo. Yeah. Hey, bro, he made an appearance. We ain't talked about that, but he was on main event. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy because I expected them to keep him under wraps.
Yeah, he stinks too. Did you watch the match?
No.
Yeah, he sucks. And now I see why they kept him under wraps.
Back to the performance center for you,
Bro,
pal.
them New Japan fanboys were not lying when they said he stinks. He did like a spinning lariat, bro. You know that little spinning discus lariat that Luke Harper used to hit?
Yeah.
Well, he spin the opposite way of his arm, so it just looked like a weird clothesline. How do you mess that up?
I need to go back and watch that match just to see how bad it is. They also said the same thing about Tonga Loa, and I don't think those estimations were wrong either.
No. Well, hold up now. The infamous Tonga Loa, you're not a fan.
I'm a fan, but you know, in a ironic way.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take Solo as well. I think we get a rematch at SummerSlam, maybe some tribal combat, but we'll see. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight.
Wow, I didn't even know this was happening. When that good?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just saw it on the card and I didn't know it was either.
I think I left the room when the Raquel and Rhea incident happened on Monday, so this is new to me. I got Rhea. Rhea win, yeah, and maybe Roxanne gets thrown through her table too. I don't know.
I think we get Raquel winning here. I think that she's gonna have some shenanigans with like Roxanne helping her, but I think because Liv is out of the way now, I think Raquel needs something. So I don't know.
If it's a Triple H booked show, you know it's gonna be outside interference.
Yeah, and but to that same token, if it's a Triple H book show, you know Rhea's going over. So we'll see what happens. I thought that's where you were going with that.
Somehow both will happen.
Following that, Sami Zayn versus Mr. Backbump himself, Karrion Kross.
This is his first match since WrestleMania. You believe that?
Yeah, I can.
You still got the cornballs online that says the Triple H is burying Karrion Kross, but not letting him wrestle.
No. Have you must not seen the discourse today that he cannot take a back bump.
Is there something recent that came out? No, I didn't
Yes,
see that.
I will send you the video, and if you are under the sound of my voice right now, go look it up. I don't know how to explain it. He works like 2000s Hogan.
Oh, he's the champion of the IWC. You ain't seen the online chatter about him?
I don't get it. He cut one decent promo backstage, never in front of a live crowd. And wasn't he backstage like on the TV show, and everybody thinks he deserves to be Mr. Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm going Sammy here. It's in Saudi, so.
I hope so. Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah.
Get Karrion Kross out of here.
Well.
I don't want to call for anybody's job. I mean, release him.
Well, that's the thing too. They're like Triple H is fumbling him. Triple H is the only reason that dude still has a job there.
Yeah, he brought him back, and it just ain't worked. It's been how many years? Triple H he cut his losses with the other guys that he whiffed on when he brought him back.
I think he came back in 21 because he was involved in the Drew and Roman feud that went into Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
That's insane.
Came in on SmackDown and he beat Drew at a PLE that year.
That's right.
In the strap match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just ain't work, man. Cut your losses. It's over.
Well, that brings us to the undisputed WWE Championship match: John Cena versus CM Punk.
Man, I want Punk to win, but I did pick Randy to win the other match, so I gotta stay consistent. I got Cena winning.
Yeah, I think I also have to say Cena, but I really don't want to. I would love for.
Yeah, I don't want it, bro.
Yeah, I need at least one last Punk world title run, even if he don't want it. I need it. I need to feel vindicated.
Yeah. Just man, if we can just have like the Shawn Michaels type run, like an 02, where he had that 1 month run with the world title, that would be fine. I wouldn't hate that. Just give us that.
I'd take it. Yeah, I'd take it over not having it at all.
If it meant that, okay, if you could get a CM Punk title run, but you have to sacrifice a Goldberg title run at the same time, would you do it?
Yeah.
Me too. I would too. I wouldn't be
Yeah, no, I mean, I had thought about it for a second. I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
But he has to
just because
he has to beat Gunther.
I can live with it. I mean, just because I feel like that Punk world title run would be so worth it.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let's get a little more extreme. Goldberg holds it, but then Seth Rollins cashes in on him and holds a 2-year-long title run.
2-year long? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to hold on to that one to the next episode. Get this bum out of here. But, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, stay tuned to the TikTok. Make sure if you aren't following us there or Instagram, whatever, make sure you're following us on all our socials. The link will be in the description of this video or podcast, wherever you're listening, if you are listening on YouTube. We appreciate all the love. We've had a lot of recent just like engagement. People have really been like coming out for all of our stuff online. So we thank you guys. If this is your first time listening, we welcome you in as well. We'll be back next week with the Night of Champions review. As always, take care of yourself. Have a good one.